Ladies and gentlemen, there is no better way to wake up in the morning than if you would wake up and get up with Garret Bedrin.
Dougie, that's hysterical.
Absolutely. It's the truth. It's the truth.
You must have asked my wife.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Get Up with Garret.
Dougie, can you hear me okay? Because I'm not hearing me so well. But
how about now?
That's better. As long as you can.
I can hear you now.
You are the master of ceremony.
There you go.
Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, everyone, this morning. It's a beautiful, cooler faller day here in the Northeast. It is Thursday, and I am fully over the Giants' defeat by the Atlanta Falcons. Some people were looking for a therapist for some severe depression issues, and I give myself 24 hours. Like I say, I am loyal. I do bleed blue. So although it was a effing disaster, and to be let down on Eli Manning Day, we'll come back to that. But I just want to let everyone know I'm aware. I said the Giants were going to win, and we certainly will talk about that. Dougie, it was good to see you over the weekend. I appreciate you actually came out.
Absolutely.
To Hawthorne Day.
Can't miss Hawthorne Day.
Hawthorne, New Jersey. Every year, the great community of Hawthorne puts on a wonderful kind of festive event. I guess you'd call it, I don't know, trade show / festival. Bands are playing, food trucks. Every organization in town has some type of table. There's Harper and Juliet. They were having a great time getting ice cream, and some of the real estate agents in town were giving out free hot dogs.
Nice.
Shout out to AJ Callie for the free hot dogs.
Nice.
Definitely appreciated that. And just really great to meet with so many residents in town and update them on the Hedges project and how we've started construction and kind of what our vision is for a luxury boutique building in this area, something that just hasn't been done, frankly, a health and wellness focus, this bold, new, sexy brand we're developing. And the, I guess the feedback is what I would say was just outstanding. I was blown away by how supportive the residents were. And I was so appreciative. Lots of questions about the history of the property, why'd this take so long? And, what's been going on since you started 13 years ago. And I said, well, you can watch the podcast and you can learn all about that. But just really thrilled with the feedback that we got. So everyone's excited. I know you were there taking some drone video and taking some shots, and we'll show some of that stuff later on.
And a lot of people coming up to the table and asking questions. And can they get shops in there? Can they get their store in there? How many apartments are there? How many bedrooms? You got a lot of people who are interested.
We had a lot of interest, and it's a little early. Honestly, we're not ready to sign people up, but I think we probably could have rented 20 apartments that day.
Yeah.
And I think I've got about 4 or 5 emails right after that, later that evening and the next morning, who people, just wanted to be on kind of the VIP list, be the first to know about it. So you can definitely email. I mean, why not just email the show, right? We have an email address. There it is. getupwithgarret@gmail.com.
Boom.
Shout out to Jeanette. We actually got an email from Jeanette last week. I think it was an email or a text on Instagram. I forget. And Jeanette appreciated the book we recommended, which was Make Your Bed, one of the first episodes. And she went out and bought the book, read it, and now makes her bed every day. So I've heard.
Interesting.
So she claims.
Interesting.
So I appreciate that people are listening to the podcast. And today we will be going through one of my favorite books, which is called Max Out Your Life by Ed Milet. And you'll hear a lot about kind of what I've learned from it and what I've taken from it. So I'm jumping all over the place here. Dougie, when we were at Hawthorne Day, you told me you were getting a new pair of sneakers.
Ooh.
Can you tell me more about that?
So I'm slightly a sneaker freak. I do like, my sneakers. And we have a brand new pair of undefeated media Air Jordans.
Wow. This is
haven't even worn them yet. They're in the box. We're going to do an unboxing video, but we'll unbox it here live. We'll unbox it here live with you today.
Yep.
Undefeated media inspired.
Let's see what you
Air
got.
Jordans.
Oh boy, that's hot.
Boom.
That's hot. The yellow, the black.
I'm actually wearing the shirt.
There you go.
See, there you go.
And that's the Jordan 1s for those who may not be sure.
Do you want to see?
Black lace. Sure.
Do you want to touch them?
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
you're a sneaker guy too, right?
I am a sneakerhead. I was wearing my Jordan 1s, the Hyper Royal Blues,
Mhm.
earlier this week. I think maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But yeah, I mean, this is the classic Jordan 1. You're going to see this in the classic slam dunk competition, the red, black, white.
Yep.
So you added your own little custom color.
Oh yeah,
which is pretty
a little accent, a little
Yep.
undefeated accent.
Now, are you going to actually wear these, or are these more for collecting
I
and
don't
trying to make
know.
money on
I
and
don't know.
branding?
I think I might. There might be for special occasions. So, for example, today, we're going to a farm. We're going to Celestial Acres. She has a rescue farm with alpacas and horses, and
That's
like
cool.
it's like a petting zoo and stuff. So, like these would not go.
No,
on
don't wear them there.
Okay.
Yeah, don't wear them
But
there.
like a special event, we throw a lot of events, and
Yes.
networking things.
That's when
we would rock these.
I think so. You know who probably would wear those?
Who'd wear
My
these?
friend Ted Lasso. would
Yes,
probably
he would
wear
definitely.
those.
So he's got the Lows, the Jordan 1 Lows, smoke gray with
Okay.
red laces. And
That's hot.
I want those. They're like,
Well, you
but
can-
they're on StockX for
you
like
can-
$300.
Definitely get any color laces. That's easy. That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
cheap way to.
Absolutely.
That's like painting a room in your house. It's a real
Yes.
affordable way to change the whole place up. But talking about Ted Lasso, did you see? I think I'm almost caught up to you, but did you see the Christmas episode?
Yes.
Okay, so episode 4 and 5 of season 2. I'm not
Mhm.
going to give anything away. Are just going to blow your mind. The Christmas episode when Love Actually comes on, they do
Mhm.
that item, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh, okay, Pat Benatar, hit me with your best shot. I mean, we're just dying. Jessica and I are
Yep.
literally dying watching this,
Best show on TV.
And it's just, I don't know, it's just so human. I mean, I'm crying sometimes watching
Yeah.
the show. I just feel so connected to this
Yes.
character.
Yes.
I haven't felt anything like that in a long time.
Yeah.
When we're watching this show, we are, of course, stuffing our face
Nice.
with one of our favorite cookies and treats.
Ooh.
Have you discovered Malamars?
Of course, they're amazing.
Now, I want to tell you something about Malamars.
Yes.
This is pound for pound one of the best treats we found. We've known
Yeah.
about them for years, but I never looked at the back of the box,
Yeah.
and I may be hard to read. 110 calories for
Uh-huh.
2 Malamars, people. That's a
Wow.
very good use of your daily caloric intake. Okay, I am definitely not a nutritionist, but I will tell
That's
you,
That's a little much.
there's a lot of desserts
Yeah.
that are like 500 calories,
Mhm.
and you get nothing. Here, 110 calories for 2 Malamars. Shout out to
Wow.
my dad Jerry. I think dropped off a whole box for my kids.
Nice.
And then when we discovered that Juliet had ripped through the whole box, we were like, we got to get some more. They don't make them all the time. They don't.
don't.
They don't carry them all the time. Sometimes in the summer you can't get them.
Really?
And they're made. They're owned by Kraft Nabisco Mondelez, which is right
Yeah.
here at Fairlawn.
Used to be
Just
right
shut
here.
down, Just shut down.
Used to be able to get a direct source. So here's my question. It's chocolate, marshmallow, and graham cracker.
It's like a s'more. It's
Exactly.
basically a.
Now, can you
a
stick
packaged-
a stick? Can you
Sure.
stick through the
Of
the
course.
Malamar part and use it and like have like a ready to go s'more? You just put it over the campfire.
Yeah, I mean, I
You
don't
think that'd
know.
work?
I think you could do it for a couple seconds. I mean,
The
I
chocolate
think,
would definitely.
I think the
melt off.
chocolate's going to destroy destroy your activity. But I just one bite, by the way, for me. You got to eat them. It's a 1 bite cookie,
Mhm.
just so you know. So
We
Go
have
ahead.
some comments. Don't move
oh,
on.
I forgot we're live.
Jamie, yes, we are live. Jamie says we love them in our house too.
Oh, wonderful! Thank you. Absolutely. We are live on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on
Yes,
Facebook,
and on Instagram.
on my Instagram.
Yes,
We're live too.
everywhere. So,
So-
we want to remind you this. We want to make this interactive. We
It is
want you
interactive.
to ask questions so you
Yes.
can answer them live.
Sure. So tell me, what's your favorite cookie or
There you
dessert
go.
or 110 calorie
There you go.
treat? Because I think pound for pound, the Malamar's pretty strong.
Yes.
We're very excited about that. So let's talk a little bit about the Giants and about football and the NFL.
Yeah.
Let's start with, we had a horrible week picking our games. Very sorry if you decided to bet money with Dougie and I
Mhm.
on the Get Up with Garret show. You lost because we did go 0 for 3. I have them written down here. Obviously, first of all, the Chiefs, I thought were going to not destroy the Chargers, but I thought they're going to win that game.
Mhm.
And the Chiefs, by the way, are 1-2. So they've got a really slow
Yeah.
start. They're not looking like the Chiefs of the
Yeah.
last 2 years.
True.
So if you're a Giant fan and you're 0-3, I guess you could make yourself feel better by saying, well, the Chiefs are only 1-2.
True.
Is
Very
that
true.
some-
Yeah, but the Chiefs are actually like scoring touchdowns.
Yes. The Giants have not scored enough points.
Yeah.
I think the Giants have scored a total of, I don't know, 40 points, 50. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a joke compared
Yeah.
to the Chiefs probably do that in one game. So we got that one wrong, Dougie. We did, but
and we had it won too. I don't know if you saw the end of the game. I forgot the cornerback who literally had the interception in his hands. If he caught that pass, game's over. Giants win.
Well, I was talking about, the Chiefs, but
Oh yeah, my bad.
Let's talk about the Giants. So the Giants, we picked giving 3 to the Falcons, and you're right. The Giants just laid an egg. It was Eli Manning Day. Jessica and I were at the game with some friends. I don't know if I sent you any pictures of us from the game. I forget.
Yes.
But we tailgated. We had a great time. And that first half, I mean, the Giants moved the ball down the field, no problem. They had, I think, over 300 yards. They were time of possession way ahead of Atlanta. And I really felt that we were going to win that game from that first half. We only got field goals instead of touchdowns. And then I don't know what happened. I mean, the Eli Manning ceremony was great. It was great to see those guys out there. They had David Tyree catching a ball in his helmet. They had Mario Manningham reenacting the big catch from the Super Bowl. His offensive line was all there wearing his jersey. Thought that was kind of cool. And they just totally laid an egg in the second half. It's the only way I can say that the defense is not as strong as we remember last year. Danny Jones continues to get better. He didn't necessarily do anything tremendous to win the game. He had that big 2-point conversion where he was really tough and ran a guy over.
Yeah.
But he's not making the mistakes that he made the last 2 years. So he's quietly getting better, and no one's noticing except me because they keep losing and not playing well. But you're right. The Giants dropped an interception, and also their offensive play calling from Jason Garret. When you have like 2 minutes left, they're just not being aggressive enough. There's no reason that at 14-14, the Giants don't go down the field and kick that field goal and win 17-14, and then we'd have a push on our 3-point spread. So I lost in the bets with FanDuel. I lost in my knockout pool. So I was all in on the Giants, and it ended not pretty.
It's a weird start to the season. And you are right. Danny Jones is getting better. And I like the fact that he's going 110%. Play breaks down. He's running. He ran over a linebacker, Yeah. I can appreciate that.
Absolutely. And look, the Giants have had injuries. Another one, I think Blake Martinez is now going to be out for the year. One of their captain linemen was out for the year. Every team suffers with injuries, but it does speak to the general manager and the coaching staff. You've got to have a mentality of next man up. And so every team through the history of time, that's how Tom Brady got famous, by having Drew Bledsoe get hurt.
Yeah.
So having injuries is not an excuse, because everyone is in the same situation. You have to have incredible backup talent and be able to shift on the fly, like in any business.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's like until you get punched in the face, and you've got to get up and keep going. And then the third game that we had picked, which is just a real shock here, the Steelers just are kind of stinking it up also.
Yeah.
After the big first week win against the Bills, I thought they were going to be solid, and we had them giving 3.5 to the Cincinnati Bengals. And Dougie, the Bengals won the game by a lot.
By how much?
I think over 10 or 15 points. It wasn't close. So
it's a weird beginning of football.
Yeah, it is a weird beginning. The Broncos look good this year. The question is, are they really looking great, or are they just played two crappy teams with the Jets and Giants out of the three? Cowboys certainly look exciting. I enjoyed watching them beat up on the Eagles.
Hate to say it, but yeah.
Let me ask you, have you watched any Monday Night Football? Have you seen what they're doing now by having the Manning brothers, Eli and Peyton, on ESPN2?
Yes. So I go back and forth if you want to go in, or do you want to explain it first?
Well, let me tell you what they're doing, and then we'll show the clip, and then we'll give some commentary on it. So traditionally, Monday Night Football has been on ESPN, and you've got your basic commentators. Someone's doing the play-by-play, and then someone's doing what they call the color commentating. And that's ESPN. So this year they launched on ESPN2. You've got Peyton and Eli. The commentators are off. You do not hear them whatsoever. You just hear the referee, the game whistle, action on the field that you normally hear from the crowd noise. And you have kind of Peyton and Eli on Zoom. They're not together. Yeah. They're in different places. So you see their photos in the top corner. And then every few, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, they'll bring a guest in. They've had, LeBron James. They've had Nick Saban, Matthew Stafford, other big players. And they just kind of talk about football. They're not calling the game. You're kind of watching with your friends. Can we show a clip so
Absolutely.
everybody knows what we're talking about?
Hold on. Wait, come on.
There's two I see. Which
Yeah.
one is it?
Home with his parents. Yes. About time they're coming after you.
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf. So there's someone making fun of Eli because his dad was on the show, because obviously his parents were in town to honor Eli Manning, and they showed Archie, and Eli must have been in his little trophy room or movie theater room, whatever. So I think it's great. It's kind of like you're hanging out with them and they're just talking football, and you watch them get upset and nervous and pissed when a bad play gets made. They're excited when a good play gets made. It's just hanging out with your friends. So I'm just curious. Type in, let me know how you feel about this. And Dougie, what's your feeling on this?
I like it. I do like how like they'll see formations and be like, oh, look, that safety's sliding over. That they should be running this play. Like they see things that normal commentators won't see, which is why Tony Romo has been a great commentator.
Incredible.
He's incredible commentator. So I like it a lot. The one thing I would change is give them the same mix of audio that the comment, like when you watch it on regular with the regular commentators, you can hear the game, you can hear the refs, you can hear the coaches interviews. Like I want to be able to still hear the game. When you watch it with them, it's them. You just hear them. There's like just like a slight degree of change that it's noticeable where like you don't feel as part of the game because you can't hear it. You just hear them like hanging out, which is great. I love I love what they're saying, but I also want to feel like I'm part of the game as well.
So do you want to hear the commentators kind of lightly in the background, or do you think you just want to hear more of the general game noise?
So when you now that I'm explaining it, you'll hear it next time. Like watch them, and then it's the one channel difference.
Yeah,
and then go back and forth, and you'll hear it. You'll hear a different mix. It's like when when you watch golf.
Yep.
They put those artificial bird sounds and stuff, and it makes a difference. So like watch them and then watch commentators. All I'm saying is whatever the settings are for the commentators, just apply it to them. Let's like hear it the same way because it's a different feeling. You feel like you're more part of the game. But other than that, like I loved it. And like they had like Matt Stafford, like you said, LeBron, they had a great guests.
Yeah, they're getting great guests.
It's awesome. Let's just tweak it just a little bit and it'll be
That's
awesome.
Pretty impressive that they can in their first season get those guests. I mean, imagine if we had those guests on the Get Him a Garret podcast.
Well, LeBron called, but we couldn't fit him in the schedule.
So, but what do you think? I forget who's calling Monday Night Football now. I don't know if it's Mike Tirico or these guys that have kind of cut their teeth for years, going up. They're out in the cold. They're working Buffalo jobs for a small little radio station. They just keep moving and moving up in the world over 20, 30 years. Finally, they get this great gig. And now you just shove Peyton and Eli, who've never done it before, on the sister channel, and you're probably getting better ratings with those guys. How do you think they feel?
Yeah, they're probably a little ticked, but
tough.
I feel like some of these guys too, like with Al Michaels and what's the other guy?
Al Michaels.
Al Michaels. No, they're still. They're still doing it. Yeah,
I think it was Tirico.
Sunday Night Football.
Sunday, he's like Tony Romo with Chris Collinsworth, I think. That's NBC. This is ESPN I'm talking about.
All right. Well, Al Michaels is still doing one of the nights, maybe Thursday nights with not Tony Romo, someone else. Okay. But like these guys have been doing it for years. They might be, it's like they kind of retire and then you can throw Eli and Peyton
things are changing. These athletes, they're retiring younger, right? And they've got tons of money, of course, but they're too young to retire. They want to stay active.
Drew Brees is now a commentator.
They want to get out there. It's unfortunate for kind of the craft of the teeth cutting journalist, broadcast growing up. Yeah. But the reality is that there's a lot of athletes that are now in that talent pool, and it's tough to compete against that because you need a mix of it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share that. So let's we showed the clip of Eli and Peyton, which again I think is one of the funniest things on TV. I think they're fantastic. You're really getting to see Eli as a goofy kind of jokester. He's really funny.
Yeah.
And together they just have a chemistry that nobody else could have.
Yep.
But let's make the picks for week 4.
Yes,
week
5.
4. Well, the Giants are 0-3, so
okay, week 4. Are you sure? Yeah. Week 4.
Yeah,
you're
4.
right.
Let's do the week 4 picks.
Yes.
So first pick is going to be Tennessee Titans are giving 7.5 points.
12 points
to the Jets.
Oh yeah.
The Jets are at home. The Jets are 0-3. The Jets have not done anything great.
Yeah.
Their young quarterback's throwing a ton of interceptions.
The Jets haven't scored last game, so you got to get points. You need points on the board, so I'm going with Tennessee, even though it's a lot of points.
Okay, Dougie, so you're going to take Tennessee. I'm writing this down,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to take Tennessee as well. So we're together on that one.
All right.
Now, the Chiefs, who, again, are 1-2, surprising. When was the last time the Chiefs were in last place in the division? They're also giving 7.5, which is more than a touchdown, to the Eagles in Philadelphia. So Chiefs going on the road, giving 7.5. I'm going to stay with the Chiefs on this one. Dougie, I think that the Chiefs need a real kind of turnaround game.
Yeah.
A real big show-up game. They just got Josh Gordon, who had come off, I don't know what the list is called, but suspension list, or he was had some, I guess, just some issues. I don't recall exactly what they were, so I don't want to say the wrong thing. But he was reinstated and now allowed to play, and the Chiefs picked him up. So they're giving 7.5, so more than a touchdown. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs in Philadelphia. What do you say?
I mean, I agree with you. I know we're trying to have a competition here. We got the same picks. Because the Chiefs are pissed. They want to win. They're not happy with their performance, so they're going to take it on the Eagles. And the Eagles didn't look that great against the Cowboys.
Okay. So the next pick we're gonna split on.
Okay.
It's kind of a toss-up anyway.
All right.
The next pick is the Baltimore Ravens, and they're getting a point going out to Denver. Okay. Teddy Bridgewater has looked better than everyone thought. But two of the three games that they've won have been against the Giants and the Jets.
Yes.
Okay. And it's tough to play out in Denver. You got that, can barely breathe the air, the whole mile high. What's going on there?
Yep.
So I'm gonna stick with the Ravens getting the 1 point.
Okay.
But I'm gonna ask you to take the Broncos.
I'll
How do
take
you
the
feel
Broncos.
about that?
That's fine.
Because I don't want to have the same ones every time.
It's you're right.
Okay.
You can have
Fine.
the Ravens.
Next time you can pick first.
All right.
Okay, so Doug, I want to get into kind of today's theme of the show.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a chance to find that image, the book. But I think maybe a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, my cousin, I think, introduced me to someone by the name of Ed Milet. Not in person. Never met this gentleman, but he's kind of a motivational speaker, an influencer, a real health and wellness kind of inspirational guru. Also, he's a financial wealth manager, and started following him on Instagram and listening to different shows that he does. And of course, started with his book. And so today's book is called Max Out Your Life. You have it up there on the screen.
Yep.
It says Strategies for Becoming an Elite Performer. And Ed's got an interesting story. He had played baseball, not to the professional level, but thought he would, played in college and thought he was going to be a pro, and had some injuries and kind of grew up a skinny kid. The joke was they used to call him Spaghetti Eddie or Eddie Spaghetti. He was, and then he decided to work out and start putting on weight, and he's in incredible shape, and he's, he's in his 50s, but is a strong man and is a confident guy. So I want to take you through a few things in this book that really jumped out at me, and share some experience and share some of your experiences too. So a lot of the things that he talks about in this book is creating, simple routines, simple rituals, specific rituals and habits that lead to success, right? And so for a lot of entrepreneurs, it could be your morning routine, how you get up in the day. We talked about making your bed in the morning. We talked about taking a moment to have some quiet time, to whether it's meditate or just think about what you're grateful for each day, what you're thankful for each day. He talks a lot about a cold stimulus, right? So how do you feel about a cold shower?
Oh, it stinks. But you're trained. I mean, I won't jump ahead, but you're basically training your body that you're in charge, right?
Well, so let me back up. Max Out, first of all, the title of the book, I think is just kind of, and there's a whole Max Out universe. You could post stuff and write hashtag Max Out. I think that kind of encompasses that you're going to give your all in everything you do, right? A lot of people want to give their all on the baseball field or the football field or at work. But are you giving your all to listening to your kids? Are you giving your all, to understanding what your spouse is going through in their day? Are you giving your all into how you eat? Are you giving your all in terms of how you're charitable and how you're philanthropic and give back to your community? So I think it's a global kind of conversation about maxing out in everything you do. When I had I remember my first job as a busboy. I wanted to be the educated busboy, right? I think we talked about this. My sister was the singing waitress. So, being a busboy is not that hard a job. You have certain responsibilities you have to do. It's kind of dirty, but I wanted to do it the best I could do it. So I learned all the specials, right? And then I had an amazing job when I got into sports business. I was a ball boy for the New Jersey Nets. So I mopped the floor, I did the laundry, and I rebounded and stuff. And I took that seriously. And some of the players, they meet my parents, they say, "Oh, Garrett's the best ball boy in the NBA." And I know it's a kind of a funny thing, but I wanted to max that out, right? I would play a game of myself. How fast could I mop up the sweat on the floor? You always have to kind of keep yourself going. So
Nice.
With the cold shower, that is a strategy that a lot of successful people use to kind of stimulate their body. There's a lot of kind of research on cold therapy, whether it's cryotherapy, plunge pools, where the coldness actually helps you stimulate blood flow and helps you heal.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's partially about programming yourself, training yourself. Can you do it for 5 seconds? Can you do it for 10 seconds? You're training your mind. But also there is some real therapy to that.
Like you're actually making new cells. Like it makes your system
blood go
kick
faster.
in.
Yeah. And so at the end of my shower, I try to, like a regular warm shower, I try to wait, 30 seconds in the cold. And it just kind of like an instant caffeine hit, like a cup of coffee, endorphin. I sound like I'm from New Jersey. Coffee, right?
Yeah.
You know where I'm from, people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cup of coffee. Coffee and water. What do you want from me? So that's something that he talks a lot about in that morning routine. Obviously, exercise, planning your day out.
And a lot of millionaires have these like it's literally like a square that they just jump into, and it's just freezing water to kick on the day.
Yeah, there's if you ever follow it'll come back to me later what his name is. There is a guy who's out there teaching kind of this cold, I think it's called Wim Hof is his name, the Wim Hof method. He teaches breathing kind of in the cold, how to be outside, right? He would joke at a cold shower, the temperature I'm taking at, he's plunging in negative 30. And how does he stay calm?
Yeah.
And those lessons get translated into your business, right? So when you hear that, you're overdrawn on your bank account, or the deal fell through, or, Publix is closing the grocery store that you thought was staying open, or you lost a tenant, instead of your response being, poor me, why me, cry, wah, I'm a baby, right? It's a calm approach of, I've been through harder. I can get through this. Let me pause. Let me be calm. Let me pull back and let me make a plan. Right. And that's how you get through a crisis. And you have to start working on the solution right away. You don't want to start scaring everybody that's attached to you in your business until you want to bring a solution. Okay. So that's super important. So with the morning routine, we've talked about getting up early. The show's called Get Up With That, Garret. I love to get up early, work out, stretch, and think about what I'm grateful for. One of the things that Ed really gets into is about, you've got to be able to change your thoughts. And when you change your thoughts, you change your beliefs. So a lot of people have negative thoughts, right? And we average 70, well, according to Ed, we average 75,000 thoughts a day.
Wow.
Does that sound like a lot or a little?
That sounds about 75,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think so.
There was 4 of them right here. There you go. 5, 6, 7. You know what I mean?
75,000 thoughts. So imagine if you're an athlete, right? And you're thinking, and you got to go out there and take a big shot. If you're going to be thinking, don't mess up, don't miss it, what's going to probably happen?
You're going to miss it.
Yeah. So that's like self-sabotaging yourself, right? When I was working for the Golden State Warriors and I was young, in my young 20s, sometimes I'd have to make 80, 100 phone calls a day. There were times when I would say, don't pick up. And I was hoping the person didn't pick up. Or if they picked up, I would say in my head, they're not going to buy. And, those were times I'm not proud of, right? Those are times where obviously I didn't have the confidence. Now, those were certain days. Maybe you had a bad day, and we all have bad days, right? But what that equals is that you are then telling your mind that kind of you're not a winner. You're not going to, accomplish the goal, whatever it may be, making a small sale. And I have noticed that when I treat that differently now in this career, and I say, this person needs what I'm offering, or they're interested, and you come in with that positive mindset, it puts you in a whole different world, and it really increases your opportunities.
Yeah. So, I took a motorcycle course way back when, just for safety. So like I got my license, and there's a nice in Fairleigh Dickinson's a great motorcycle course. It's a weekend event, and they tell you where you look and where your head is where you're gonna go. So when you're turning, you want to turn your head to where you want to go. They actually teach NASCAR drivers too, like when they're driving, they're focused on where they want to go. If it's snowing out, there's ice on the road, and you lose control, you don't look at the pole that you're going for, because then you're going to hit the electric pole. You want to look where you want to go and focus on that. Wherever you focus, your attention and momentum goes.
Very good.
There you go.
Very good. So,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think I remember even hearing during driving school, if you skid like that, you should turn into it. Don't try to fight it the other way.
Interesting.
Go into it and, kind of accept the fact where you are and work with where you are, which is an interesting metaphor because, you make a great business plan and then COVID-19 happens. And like we've talked to a lot of different entrepreneurs, shit happens, right? And everybody wants to kind of look backwards, right? Well, you can't. You've got to just understand that was the plan. Yes, I made a plan, but here's where I am today. And the quicker you realize and identify and recognize where you are, right? And take the emotion out of it, the quicker you're going to solve the problem and come with a solution. And it no longer matters what you pro forma'd for year 1 and 2. You're in year 2. You need to get to year 3.
Yeah.
Throw it out the window at that point. Okay. So now we're going to get into a little bit of something interesting. So try to follow me. There's something in your brain called the RAS. Have you heard of that before?
Yes, that's what I was talking about.
You're kidding.
I've heard it before. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Your reticulating activating system.
Yes, this is exactly. I was trying to dumb it down, but yes,
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we'll just call it RAS because I'll never get that correct. And your RAS in your brain is a mental filter.
I watched a video about this morning. I'm not even lying. Go ahead.
This is incredible. Okay, so this is a gatekeeper. Okay, this function in your head only allows relevant info into your thoughts, right? So there's a million things you're going to see every day as you drive and walk around and whatever you're doing in your day. And the RAS acts as a filter. It takes the bad stuff out that you don't need, and it brings in the good stuff that's relevant to you. Have you ever got a new car or motorcycle? Let's say, it's example, Ed Milet calls it the blue Honda effect. You buy a blue Honda. Now, everywhere you go, you see the blue Honda.
Yes.
You've seen this before?
Yes.
Okay. This and right in
the Jeep effect. You get a Jeep, and all of a sudden you see all the Jeeps.
You buy a Jeep.
Yes.
You go to an airport and you're running around and somebody yells, Doug. You're like, okay, I'm here, right? So that's your RAS, okay? And if this has ever happened to you before, you have a funny story, please, write in because, I think this is true. This happens to me all the time. I'm now going to see Jordans everywhere I go, I'm sure, because we talked about it today. And maybe you're going to see Malamars. So the RAS acts as this filter, and it basically, it wants to prove your beliefs true. So think about that for a second. It wants to prove your beliefs true. So if you believe you are a loser and you're not going to make any sales and you're overweight and you're not successful and you're not going to do this, you will start to see things that prove that true. Wow. That's really powerful. And so I want to just read from his book, just a quick quote, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
So on page 46 here, something that he says that I think will just ring really well and true, because these are from his words, because I am recommending everyone get this book. When you believe you're going to grow a big, successful business or have a great income, the RAS starts working to filter in all the experiences that will prove this to be your reality. Specifically, if you believe people need what you have, the RAS will begin to reveal opportunities that may have always been there, but are now highlighted as a result of your focus. This focus causes them to be relevant to you. Conversely, it will begin filtering out everything that would prove you to be unsuccessful. Okay. Since I've started this podcast, I've had probably 2 or 3 new business opportunities come my way. Not directly from the podcast, from the concept of putting yourself out there and developing yourself as a thought leader as an expert in commercial real estate,
Mhm.
as somebody who's authentic, transparent, and open to doing business. So for me, when I put myself out there and I talk about more what I'm up to casually with friends that I know that are in the business, this is not bragging. This is just kind of sharing what you're up to.
Mhm.
And you have a positive attitude about it. For me, I start identifying the opportunities more.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Does that ever happen to you?
Absolutely. It's like when you lose something and you could have sworn it was at some certain place and you're looking for it and you're like, I can't find it. I'm never going to find it. And then your friend goes, it's right here in front of your face because you believed you weren't going to find it. Right. Or, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's also your perception. If your perception is I work really hard, I'm strong-willed, I'm going to be successful, it connects the dots to make that true.
And it shows you things that maybe you weren't seeing. Right. So, for example, I know you ran into one of my hairstylists at a networking and marketing event, right?
Yeah, she came to one of my events.
Right. Well, that elevated your desire to want to do more business with me. That put things together for you.
Sure.
Right. It would just kind of, you're like, oh, wait, now that makes sense. Oh, that's Garrett's place. I know Garret. I've been talking to Garret.
Absolutely.
It puts it together. Now, it doesn't mean that it would have happened or wouldn't have happened, but you identified it because your RAS was at work. It wants to prove your beliefs true.
Yes.
So that's why we get up in the morning and we say, we're going to kill it at the gym today. We're grateful and thankful for our family. Because when we say we're grateful and thankful for our family, we actually will talk that way to our family and show them that we are grateful and thankful for them. And this concept blew my mind. And to me, this is just such an important foundation in being an entrepreneur.
There's a small, real quick exercise you can do. Everyone can do it at home right now. Ready? So look around the room, right? Look around the whole room. And I want you to remember everything that's red. Look around the room, everything red. Focus on red. So keep your attention, everything on red. Now, everybody at home, close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Want me to do this too?
Yes, close your eyes.
Okay.
Now, you remember everything that's red, right?
Yes.
Okay, you got it in your head?
Yep.
Can you tell me 2 things that were blue?
No.
See? So you're focused on red.
Wow.
You're thinking red. Your momentum's on red. Red could be you think you're a success. Red could be you think you're a failure. Red could be whatever your thought process is. You're focused on that. You remember those things. You can't tell me 2 things that are in the room that are blue.
Incredible. You're right. Now I can because I've taken a few seconds to pull back. But that was good. I appreciate that, Dougie.
Absolutely.
So have you ever sat at like a table? Let's say you're at lunch, right? And 3 tables away, you can kind of hear someone talking about podcasts or social media. You hear that, right?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Right. And you're, oh, hey, I'm
done.
Exactly. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. And that's an important part. Sorry about that. To the secret to success. That's your RAS working.
Yes.
It's identifying opportunities. It's trying to prove your beliefs to be true. It's very, very powerful. He also goes on to talk about, he says this great quote, your obsessions become your possessions. Okay. So, the things that you really want to focus on, you will achieve. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should go out and do everything to have an incredible Rolex watch or fancy car. That's not where he's going with this, but he's saying what you focus on, you will be able to get to.
Yeah.
And there's incredible stories all over the world of people that have, desired for certain things when they were younger and they finally get there at the end. But, keep in mind, it's always about that journey getting there. It's not about the value of something. Things are not what's important in life. It's the journey that you do it with your friends and your family. Now, this can work against you, obviously, if you're thinking very negatively, right? But you always want to strive, for greatness and for, for being grateful and for thankful. The other big point that Ed talks about in his book that I kind of highlighted is something called blissful dissatisfaction. So there's there's 1 or 2 kind of flawed ways of thinking that he goes into in this book. He says, and tell me if you've heard this before, because I know I'm guilty of this. I'll be happy when blank. Right?
Yes.
I'll be happy when I meet the girl of my dreams. I'll be happy when I get the fancy car. I'll be happy when I get the bigger house. I'll be happy when I make $1 million. Right.
I get this all the time with potential clients.
Okay.
We'll start when I get the new car. We'll start when I get my real estate license. Let's start. No, you gotta get started. Because there is no perfect time. So
Right.
it's kind of like it's like 1 degree different, but yeah,
Yep.
that's what I get all the
Sometimes we
time.
hear that with like, it's not the right time to buy this house or start the baby, have a family.
Mhm.
Well, okay. Yeah. Like there's ever
When
going
I
to be a
get
great time.
when I get the raise, then I'll have a baby, I'll have a family.
Right. So what happens for a lot of people, they wake up, they look back, and now they're much older.
Yes.
They're past their
Baby
peak.
making days.
Well, but even in anything, it doesn't have to be about making a baby in anything. So this is a flawed way of thinking. And by the way, I think it's very common even for success credentialed entrepreneurs sometimes think this way. But the difference is then they stop themselves.
Mhm.
So you've got to learn to be happy in the current situation you're in, because you've got to, again, focus on who you're doing it with, what's around you, right? How blessed you are just to wake up in the morning, go spend a day at a children's hospital, and then you'll focus on what it's like just to wake up and get out of bed.
Yeah.
Right. Go somewhere where people have lost limbs from the war, and you'll see how much you appreciate being able just to walk to your bathroom in the morning. So always focus on, learn to be happy in your current situation, because very successful people, even if you get that fancy car, then there's another one. Even if you buy that $1 million house, then it's the $2 million house. Then it's the oceanfront house, right? Then it's the compound, right? Then it's the private jet, but then it's the bigger jet, then it's the aircraft carrier. That is not a game you're going to win. You can't live your life like that. It's just something that is a lost, it's just a losing
downward
game.
spiral.
It's a spiral. I don't like that.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Exactly. So the other type of flawed thinking he talks about is, if I let myself enjoy this, I'll lose my drive. Okay. Think about that for a second.
Okay.
So thinking about, now you're in your 60s, you've built a great business and you want to sell your business, and you're going to go just retire and go play golf every day. Guess what? You're not going to be happy either.
True.
Okay. You've got to enjoy the little celebrations and accomplishments along the way. Why? Because we've got to train our mind to have that little hit of dopamine, or else it's not worth it. You're not doing it. So Tom Brady would be a great example, right? He could have easily called it a day after 3, 4, 5, pick a number, right? The guy's won 7 championships. He is still so freaking happy, right? You look at him, you're like, oh my God, he's going to bed at 8:00 at night, and he's drinking wheatgrass and oat milk, and who knows what he's doing. He's had to make changes, right? He doesn't throw the ball like Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't run the ball like Lamar Jackson. He focuses on what he's really good at. He stays in his lane. But does he enjoy every year when he wins that Super Bowl?
Absolutely.
You see how happy he is.
Absolutely.
How he's crying with his family, his kids. It's just, it's beautiful to watch. He's absolutely doing that. So it's okay to be happy while still going after goals and still
100%.
People need to really understand that it's about enjoying the process. I always say the process. You say process. And so if you enjoy a little bit of that celebration and you stay focused, you stay grounded, it's not going to throw off your drive. It's not going to stop you. And I remember there's a broker friend of ours, his name's Peyton Millinor. He does some work for us for due diligence when we're buying properties. And I remember we made 20 years ago, we made a big deal. We made a great sale, and he made a big commission, and he was young too. And he says, Garrett, I'm going to go out, and with 10% of this commission, I'm going to go buy a new stereo. And I was like, oh man, you made this huge deal. Go put the money away. He's like, no, I have to, I've got to celebrate a teeny little bit of this because I want to, show myself that it was worth it. And that always that kind of stayed with me for years. And I really understand that through Ed with the Blissful Dissatisfaction, that if you celebrate a little bit, you're going to train your brain that every hard step along the way is worth it, because it comes with a little bit of a dopamine. That's a legal drug. You're allowed to take that. That's good for you.
Yes.
Along the way. So that's super important.
And scientifically, the saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. Dopamine is attaching to receptors. So if you stop being happy and stop laughing, those receptors don't get used, and they get smaller and smaller and smaller, making it harder for you to be happy, making it harder for you to laugh. So the more you exercise those receptors, the more and more they'll make those connections, and those stronger connections. It'll be easier for you to be happy. It'll be easier for you to smile. It'll be easier for you to laugh.
Absolutely. So the last thing that he talks about that I'm going to mention is just the idea of, the difference between, being an entrepreneur, being an owner, being an employee. And this kind of hit home with me a little bit. Was fortunate this week. We had some friends from L'Oreal and Salon Centric. They were in town visiting and touring some of our hair salons.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really important relationship for me. They're not only my tenants, they actually rent space for me in my shopping centers,
Nice.
but we also partner with them on education, because we both believe how important it is to provide education to salon suite owners with our Salons by JC brand. So, we talked a lot with them. And of course, a lot of my hairstylists that rent from us, they buy from different L'Oreal brands and use those products. So it's an important relationship. And we talked a lot about that. I'm not really in the hair business. I need to more see myself being in the business incubation business. I'm helping people open up their own business. That is a huge, huge thing that we're doing. When you're traditionally you're in the hair or wellness business, you're on commission, or you're an employee working at someone else's salon, and you are you're really working for that other person. Okay. And so I want to read to you what Ed says about that real quick.
Please.
He says, a wage is nothing more than a bribe a business owner has paid someone to work on his or her dreams instead of their own. Think about that for a second. A dream of somebody else. When you are an employee, and this, again, there's nothing wrong with being an employee whatsoever. But if you're at this juncture of your life where you have the opportunity to own your own business and you want to do that, don't just look at this as a one single transaction and, well, what's the cost of the rent? What's this versus my paycheck? You are living someone else's dream. And I'm in the business now of helping you live your own dream. Okay, whether it's a small business owner doing a dry cleaner, a Chinese restaurant, a dance studio in one of our family shopping centers, or it's our Salons by JC luxury salon suite brand. We are here to help you learn about wealth generation, about tax benefits, about write-offs, making your own schedule, coming and going, building your own brands, whether it's on social media. It's just so important that people understand the difference between being an employee, where you're working and living out someone else's dreams, versus being an owner and an entrepreneur, where you're working and living out your own dreams. And I remember when I was in California, before I joined my family business, I kept thinking about, all right, I think I'm at a point now where I've learned a lot outside my family. It was important for me to do some other things first, see how other companies worked. And I got to the point where it really hit me and said, I can help provide for our family and not somebody else's family. So I think that's a real important key to being an entrepreneur. And I'm really glad that I was able to share this book with you and with the audience and some of these stories. I recommend everybody check out where they can get Max Out Your Life and start maxing out your own life.
Absolutely. And that kind of the final point, that's kind of how I'm trying to build Undefeated Media. I'm not looking for just employees to come in here 9 to 5 and just do some work. I always ask them, what's your dream? What's your goal? Like, what's your dream job? What's the things that you want to do? And I want to pour gasoline on that and help them create their dream job. It's more like a creative sanctuary here that we're like teaming up together to build this castle of content rather than just reporting here. And
Castle of Content.
Castle of Content. There you go. Let's make a
good one.
t-shirt.
That's a t-shirt, Jess. That's a t-shirt, Jess. Castle of Content. So,
Castle of Content.
Anyway, Doug, that's all I got for you. We did our NFL picks. We broke down our great book recommendation. We talked about Hawthorne Day a little bit, and the project's going, really well. Now
Video to come.
Rocking and rolling. Thanks for Undefeated Media putting together some great video. I think over the next few weeks and months, certainly by the end of the year, we will see some significant physical changes to the property. And I think we'll start seeing some of the assets, some of the marketing assets get put out there further than the logo and the card that I made. Awesome. And stay tuned. A couple off-market projects we're working on too that we're hoping to get more information on that can't be transparent on yet because it's still in top secret mode, but we're getting there. So thanks for tuning in to the Get Up with Garret podcast, and please let all your friends and colleagues know about us and follow us, subscribe, like us, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube.
All
right?
the above.
My daughter always goes like this. Remember to follow me down here. Hit like. And we'll see you guys next week. We will have a guest in
Nice.
either in studio or on virtual.
Nice
Next
job.
Thursday.
Great episode.
Thanks, Doug. Take care, everybody.